So hi, my name is Stephanie Olaiya, and I am a software engineer at InstaLILY. So I did my undergrad and master's at Brown University, and in my undergrad I studied neuroscience, and I got my master's degree in computer science on the ML and AI track. So funny story, I actually wanted to study neuroscience because I had a very specific question that I wanted to answer. Growing up, I had and still sort of have a stutter, and I wanted to essentially figure out why that was. And so I just wanted to take like the introductory neuroscience class because I thought that that'd probably be the fastest way for me to get an answer since reading research papers online. And I took the class. At this point, I was undecided, and I actually wasn't planning to concentrate in neuroscience at all. It was just so interesting that I just had so many more questions, the more like topics that we had in the class. And I feel like neuroscience is just such a broad and very, very applicable like research area that I just couldn't help but just take more and more classes. And before I could like look at what was happening, I had finished all the requirements for the concentration. And so that's how that happened. So it was actually a very sort of natural progression. So for context, the part of neuroscience that I'm particularly interested in is higher cognition. So systems, movement, emotions, language, memory, things like that. And it's actually very interesting to find out that a lot of these systems are being modeled computationally. And so when I was in my undergrad, I found myself doing a lot of like computational neuroscience projects, and like that was the part of neuroscience that really interested me, mainly because instead of like working in the wet lab, you're kind of just getting all these data points and trying to like actually see if you can model a system that's as convoluted as the human brain and something that's very discrete. From pure like the neuroscience foundations, I was doing a lot of computational neuroscience, and that just like very naturally like pivoted into me wanting to get like a more in-depth knowledge of computer science, especially because a lot of people don't really know this, but both of those fields, like neuroscience and computer science, they really interchange a lot of topics. So people are always trying to figure out how we can use computer science to model the human brain. And people are also trying to figure out how can we use our knowledge of neuroscience to make things like our AI systems, more human-like. That like interdisciplinary area was something that I thought was a very interesting topic, and that's kind of how I've transitioned. So it wasn't really a pivot, it was more of a continuous progression from neuroscience to computer science and like whatever lies in between both of those spaces. Prior to my role at InstaLILY, a lot of the things that I worked on were research projects. And I think when you work in research, you tend to find out that a lot of the time, like I think 80 to 7% of research projects don't give you the expected like result. And so when you like come into software engineering in general with a mindset like that, you tend to plan a lot more in the beginning, just because you're dealing with something that you can't really predict the outcome of. And I think that simply is the way I look at software engineering, as one, not really being super scared to try new things, just because you never really know where you're gonna go, and two, having a very organized frame of mind when you're starting the projects to begin with, just so you don't end up going like too far out of scope, if that makes sense. Yeah. So one creative hobby that I really like that I've been doing as kind of my outlet to only focusing on STEM related things, I really like to draw and to read or like critique literature. So, but one that I particularly like really want to get better at, and it's actually my New Year like resolution, is to really focus more on digital painting, because I use Procreate. So, but it takes like such a very long time to actually like get a piece that I really like. And I feel like with like a full-time job, you do tend to procrastinate, and then you actually don't want to like commit to doing something big because it's going to take like a lot of time. But I think that's one hobby that I really like, and I like pour like most of my time into. I think one thing I really like about InstaLILY is the people that are here and the team, like the team atmosphere that we have. Because I think as a software developer, when you work in teams, you just learn a lot faster and learn a lot of things that you would not necessarily have endeavored to look into on your own. Like just like basically like new ways to think about like a problem, like new packages, even like new websites, like blogs, things like that. People here are very, very talented. And so it's very easy to like also see yourself growing in your own skill set when you're working with the people here. So that's like my favorite thing about working here.